fun with faith, family, and friends. I'm your co-host, Bobby Fredrickson. With me, as always, my beautiful wife,
Katie Fredrickson.
I'm the convert Catholic, and she's
the cradle Catholic.
And tonight we have a special guest. We have Enoch, our favorite Catholic rapper.
I've never met a Catholic rapper before. Are you the only Catholic rapper out there?
No, there's a few out there actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of Christian rappers, obviously, but Catholic rappers, that's a whole other level.
Yeah, I could drop some names for you guys on this podcast.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah. We. I found you through Instagram, and I didn't. I started listening to it, and I'm like, I was looking for an alternative because I grew up on the South Side of Chicago. I grew up listening to the hardest. I remember at a very young age listening to music I definitely shouldn't have been listening to, and I think that was a big part of my downfall because I was a convert. I had no religion, but I remember I was like maybe age 10 listening to NWA, like Eazy-E type stuff, and it was just very, very inappropriate lyrics and stuff like that. So it just really did skew the way that I just looked at music in general. And so I was looking for an alternative, and was happy to see that there was a Catholic talking about Catholic things. So appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for listening. It means a lot. Yeah.
So what got you into music in general? Is this something that you've always done? You grew up, or were you kind of the similar thing? You're looking a way to share your love for Jesus. How did this all come about?
Yeah, well, to start off, it wasn't similar to your story. I grew up in the culture and saturated in the mid '90s with the West Coast East Coast beef. You probably remember that.
Oh yeah.
And it's just being completely saturated in that. And I was always an East Coast guy. Nas, Wu-Tang, Biggie were my guys. So around 7th to 8th grade, my brother and I just picked up a pen and a pad and just wanted to be rappers like everybody else at the time. It was one of the most listened to genre at that time in the mid '90s, and was starting to rise up. Hip hop was. So it wasn't great. We had ciphers in middle school and high school. I started beatboxing a little bit, and then it wasn't until later on we started putting music on wax. I guess you could say we started recording some tracks. But it was probably around 2007 when I had my conversion, 2008 my reversion back to the faith, the start of Benedict's papacy, and that's when my brother and I we went from Catholic, so what I call ourselves Creaser Catholics. We don't go to Mass Christmas and Easter only. Then on to Protestants. We attended the Rock, the big church in San Diego, with Miles McPherson, was an ex-Charger player who became a pastor. And then we ended up reverting back to the faith, mainly due to my father's, adamant. He said, listen, I don't know apologetics. I know that we're culturally Catholic, but I know it's the true faith. Do me a favor, look into it before you go to Protestant. And then we ended up getting into the Church Fathers. And of course, they're undefeated. Once you get to the Church Fathers, you either have to be defiant and say be prideful, or you got to be Catholic. That's just the way it is.
That's so many Protestant stories, right? or people that almost, that's so true.
Yeah, and so you're a cradle Catholic, and Bobby, was the Church Fathers big for you too as well? Coming back?
I was baptized. I'm one of 4 boys. I was the only son that my mom even baptized, which is weird, but so I had that indelible mark, but I had no formation at all. And then when I started dating Katie, she was going like every Sunday but not taking it serious basically, and I went to one mass, midnight mass, and I was overwhelmed by the power of the Holy Spirit. I'm like, I want to come every Sunday. I didn't know what was going on. I just knew I knew God was real. I humbled myself and he touched me, and the rest is history. Yeah, so I started RCA. I found Father John Karapi first. That's how I went.
He's more like Father Mike Schmitz, Father Karapi,
yeah,
and
Father
then slowly
Mike Schmitz,
getting
Karapi,
down
and then Fulton Sheen, and then I got into early Church Fathers. Yeah.
Okay, powerhouses. Yeah. I remember staying up late doing my reversion, watching EWTN, and Life is Worth Living would come on. I like the black and white Sheen better than the color Sheen.
I agree. Me too.
Yeah, she was great. But yeah, we started. We had a change of heart, and the Holy Spirit lights you up. everything around you, everything in your life, from the way you speak, from the way you do things, the conscious changes, and it starts to form differently. So because we were so into music, we decided to change our music completely from secular into more Catholic Catholic hip hop. And then I believe it was from 2009 to 2011, we were working on our first album, Spirit versus Flesh, which is still out there somewhere in the ether. We got signed to a new record label, which was Catholic. That didn't work out, but they ended up being so kind. They ended up selling us, actually at no cost, all of our masters back. So they pretty much mixed and mastered all of ours, and we ended up launching it on our own. And then I got married, had kids. I got 4 boys too, so I understand what your parents were going through. And then around 2013, I got married. We have kids. Life just happened, and I took about almost 10 years off from music, and I just came back to it about 2 years ago. And that's where Tradiciones and Deus Vault came out, and now Kid Kanisa.
Yeah,
cool.
I think the album cover, that's when I first saw it, like, oh man, it was a dope, the first one, traditional, how do you say it, Traditionist?
Tradiciones, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, man, he's got smoking a pipe, got a dope beard. I'm like, man, I'm gonna give it a try. But like I said, I was looking for something to listen to, like when I work out. I need some hard beats. So like now, like I'll still listen to secular stuff, but like I don't even listen to the words. Like I know they're saying bad stuff, but I don't even hear them. It's more of just
it
like
drives me nuts. I can't.
Yeah, she can't even in the car, but like
I think is worse than the 90s.
Yeah, no, the new stuff is horrible.
It's horrible. Yeah.
It's horrible.
So you were in hip hop or in that culture before your reversion, so you did rap prior. Did you do like, what are those competitions called?
Rap battles?
Battles, yeah. Have you ever battled?
Well, we used to from high school and college. That's all we did, freestyle battle.
Oh my gosh! So you and your brother would go and do those battles?
Yeah, it wasn't professional, but we would set up battles with friends and other MCs. But yeah, it was just
okay.
fun.
So did you do that after your conversion or a reversion?
No, the only time I did a battle after my reversion was, it's on my YouTube. I battled a Protestant rapper.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's on my YouTube. So the way it's funny because we go 3 rounds, and I think the first round is the papacy. So he raps, and I'll defend, and I defended the papacy. So we did that. We went 3 rounds, and that's the only time I've done it ever since.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Awesome. Because I would assume before your reversion that there was some profanity, right, that you would use in your rap, or were you clean?
No, we're pretty clean.
Okay.
The content wasn't, of course, it was conscious rap, I guess people would call it nowadays.
Okay.
But because the studio wasn't our home, I would never say any profanity. My mother was like next door,
Yeah.
So,
okay. Gotcha. Well, have you ever heard of the Saga? He's a Christian rapper, and he does battle raps, and that's what the Saga his name is.
No, I don't know.
And he I just remember listening. He was on Jennifer Fulwiler's show once, and he was talking about how difficult it is. He will go in, he will battle with regular rappers who just, use all the profanity, and he does it clean versus they're dirty. And he said it actually is more hard because you have a very limited vocabulary. You're more like cut down to what you can say and I just thought that was interesting.
Or you have to expand your vocabulary other than gutter words.
Right.
You got to just. I know.
I guess Catholics have our own set of, transubstantiation. You got.
We have our own vocabulary.
And you got Latin. You can pull from the Latin.
Oh yeah, that's so true. We maybe have more of a vocabulary than most, I guess, huh?
Yeah, it's just funny because if you start using some Latin, the second people are like, "What did you just curse at me in a different language?"
Yeah, I don't even know what he's saying now. You can throw shade and they don't even know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what? So you got the 3rd album's coming out on All Saints Day. Yeah. Is that you picked that day obviously on purpose for All Saints Day? And tell us a little bit about the new album.
Thank you. Yeah, I did pick that specific day. Originally, I was going to come out with a collaboration album with John Levi, who's actually a member of Foundation, the Catholic rap group. There's five of them, and they're incredible. They're a great group. John Leva and I have a similar style, so we were collaborating on the album. But I was working on my album at the same time, and John Leva was working on his personal solo album. So I told John, I said, "Hey, do you want to release our album first, or shall I release mine?" And he goes, "Oh, I still got some things to work on my end. Just go ahead and release yours, and we'll release ours in a few months." So I got another album coming out, another a collab album with John Levi.
Cool.
But I picked the first because Kanisa means in Arabic and Aramaic it means church, ecclesia, and
Okay.
the entirety of the church, the church triumphant, the church suffering, which is the all souls in purgatory, and the church militant here on earth. It encapsulates the entirety of the church and the heavenly those of beatific vision, those who are waiting and those who are here all together. So it's called Kanisa, and it's coming in on the first, which is all saints.
That's awesome.
Now, how many albums have you released? I mean, you took that, time off. So how many total?
So if you count the one in 2012, 2011, this would be number 4.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, number 4.
And then you do a bunch of. I saw there's a bunch of different just singles and stuff. You've released EPs and stuff like that.
Just singles, yeah.
Yeah, how does that come about? Because I know that a lot of artists do that. Is it just one song that just kind of stands alone, so you don't want to put it in an album? You try to like theme it out. Obviously, you're talking about the church, so like the songs kind of go with it. And if it's kind of don't stick, or for like a special purpose or whatever.
Yeah, so sometimes I'll do that. Or sometimes I'll release a single months in advance, but that'll be the single for the album, just to kind of get people a taste of what the album is going to sound like. So some of the songs that you've heard, prior will be in the album, but there's going to be some songs that I haven't released that'll also be in the album as well. Like one of the songs, Joe Cafaso, no one's heard that one. That'll be a fun one to work out too. It's pretty fast paced.
All right, good, good. I need some stuff. Well, I saw the one single. We're actually going to have Kira from Mercy Divine on in the middle of the month. So I saw you guys collabed on that, and how was that? And I that's part of it. You got to have sometimes you got to have those good choruses with the harmonizing and stuff like that.
Man, I can't see. I'm not a great singer. I could write melodic music, but that's not my strong suit to sing it, obviously. And she's an incredible singer, and her husband is great at he's like a super producer. He's able to edit and engineer and put things together and harmonize. So when I put my reference vocals on there, I spare the world for my reference vocals. I sent them over to her, and I said, "Hey, you want to do the song with me?" And she was so quick and so creative. Her talent is just beyond just her vocals, just her ear for music and understanding where to put melodies. She changed some things because she has a better understanding of notes than I do. And then when he came in, he put it all together, and I was blown away with what they did. Those two are probably one of the most talented artists the Catholic world has right now. Absolutely.
So cool.
Yeah, I know. I downloaded all their stuff, and it's just so awesome on Instagram. You can connect with people you normally, sometimes we feel like we're isolated because we're in a basement right here, and we've actually formed. We have a couple small groups now, so like we're starting to branch and find, because it's real hard. Most parishes are elderly people. Our older parish, it was all older people, and so when we moved we're in St. John, where it's a lot of, it's a school. So my wife's the principal at the school. So it helps to have a school, but the schools are going away too. It's like, but when you got a school feeding younger parents who got kids, then you can find those groups. But a lot of times people are struggling. They feel isolated, it's like, especially if you're taking your faith serious, because most people are just show up on Sunday types,
I mean, you already feel niche, like, or unique, and what you're referring to, just as being a practicing Catholic. I can't imagine being a practicing Catholic artist, musician, let alone a practicing Catholic rapper. That's very niche, right? It's very unique. It's very
Sure.
So how did you find other rappers like you? Is like, how did you reach out and find, like you said, you have a few that you can name. How did you guys connect together?
So I've known the guys at Foundation for a while. I think when we were really starting in the early 2010s, I think a couple of them were living in San Diego, where I was living as well. So we found each other just through performing of different fiestas in different parishes.
Mm-hmm.
And then they actually they weren't formed as a group at that time, and I met them, a couple of them individually, and then they ended up forming a group. I don't know how they found each other, but I just got a chance to meet pretty much all of them just this past couple of months. I went to LA and we did a performance, and,
Oh, very
and
cool.
it was one of the greatest weekends because you're just sitting in this room, and we all spent, we all had an Airbnb together, and we spent this time. And Father Stanford too. I don't know if you know him.
That sounds familiar.
He's a Franciscan renewal, Franciscans of the Renewal in Brooklyn.
Okay.
And he's I call him the godfather of Catholic hip hop.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh wow.
Yeah, he's the one who inspired all of us. He's the one who got everything started. He's got a song called "Everyone's Gotta Suffer" from 2005. So even back then, they were still doing that. So.
Yeah.
Oh wow. Is he part of the CFRs? Is that them?
Yeah, that's
okay.
it.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I know those guys. Yeah. Yeah. They got guys who play guitar. They got was it Brother Isaiah, or there's one of the guys.
Well, there's the Hillbilly Thomists. I've heard of them.
Yeah.
They're good too.
That's not, rap is just so different. Hip hop is just such a different, unique in and of itself, and then doesn't have like a long history within church music. So I just think it's really cool. It's something different. It's very unique.
Well, with it comes a culture,
right.
and it's just it's trying to change the culture. I mean, the music today, like we talked about, it's so degrading, it's so ridiculous. I've heard some of the samples of new songs like "Traditional Wife" and "Being a Real Man," and like trying to fight against the culture through the medium where people are at, which is whether that's social media or music. I mean, those are two of the things to reach people, which everybody's at social media and everyone listens to music.
Are there any women Catholic rappers that you know?
Not rappers, not that I know of.
I'm just thinking of how gross, like some of the lyrics of certain female rappers are. I think even worse sometimes than the men with the things they rap about. And I just thought it would be interesting if there was a lady out there that
there was she never made a career out of it, but S Mine is his stage name. He's a producer for Foundation. His wife, I heard her on a record one time. They did a song together, husband and wife. And she's phenomenal. She's pretty good. So I got to reach out to him and I say, hey man, your wife would be the first female Catholic rapper.
Yeah.
She should put that together. That would be great. Yeah.
Something. I bet that would be really cool.
Yeah.
So what? This is something that you've been working on for a long time. So other than like going on podcasts, going on other people's channels and stuff like that, do you have anything scheduled to go out to actually do some more performances, or was that like a one-time thing, or is that something of like that just kind of all the stars aligned and kind of came together?
No, that's a great question. I normally. I'd love to go perform wherever the parishes ask me to perform if it's the right. No, with my current work, what I do full time, the summer and the winter are extremely busy. So the spring and the fall. This is why at the end of summer, beginning of fall, I was out performing. I think I was in LA. I think it was in Texas. I was in Detroit. I was in Richmond, Virginia. So if I won't do back-to-back performances in the wintertime because of how busy things get. But if there's a certain weekend, a parish nearby wants me to go out there, do like something for the youth, that's what I really want to do, is perform for that. Because I did youth ministry for 10 years.
Oh, very cool.
My sabbatical away from music, that scratch was filled doing youth ministry at the local parish of San Diego for about almost 10 years. So
would you rap with them?
Sometimes I'd go up on these. We would have these. They call them praise nights, and we'd have the whole band, and we would do all the. And then at the very end, they'd ask me to come up, and I would just do a little freestyle with everybody. It was fun, but nothing serious. But it was just fun stuff. A lot of them, when I put the album on, I sent it to the group, and they were like, "You moved to Kentucky." I'm a Kentucky now. I was like, "You moved to Kentucky?" You're like, "What have you been doing?" I said, "Well, I got music. I put on music now. I got more time in my hands." In California, you got to work 3 jobs just to make ends meet.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So it is a juggle, though. You have 4 boys,
Yeah,
and then you work full time,
yeah.
and you have this. How do you make that all work?
No, it's
Asking for a friend.
Yeah.
uh, well, in all reality, I don't do anything within family time. So family time is family time.
Mhm.
I got to be present, for the wife and the kids.
Yeah.
I record every single track, every single verse after the kids are asleep. So I'll come in. I have a shed, which I turned into my office / studio, and that's where I could come in and just record. And then
I love
any
that.
downtime I have at work, for example, if I have a half an hour break here and there, that's when I'm writing the lyrics.
Hmm.
So it's all ready to go. So I'll finish writing about 2 or 3 songs, and I'll come in that night and just record all 3 of them. And then what I'll do is I'll ship 2 or 3 songs off to Denmark, which is my guy who does the mixing and mastering. Um, and he'll mix and master it. He'll send it back. I'll ask for some revisions, and then when I'm happy with it, that song is finished.
So
And then
someone adds like your beat and stuff,
no,
like you don't write that part.
the beats are done. The lyrics are done. The hooks are done. My vocals. What happens is the raw vocals are, um, the levels are not perfect.
Hmm.
Sometimes you might need a little auto tune and some pitch correction here and there. That's what
Oh,
the guy.
okay.
That's what the guy. So he mixes it professionally and
Oh, okay.
masters it, so it could be Spotify ready.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow. That is very cool.
yeah,
Wow. You do that after the kids go to sleep. Good for
yeah,
you.
yeah.
I'm ready to go to sleep
Well,
myself when the
that's
kids go
what
to
we do
sleep.
here. That's like, hey, we pushed it
Yeah,
back like an hour
yeah,
because
we put the
Yeah.
kids
we
to bed
we
and
said
we're
our
doing this.
prayers with the kids. Like, all right, go to
Yeah.
bed. They're upstairs.
You
We're in
guys
our
are
basement.
veterans. You're veterans. You know what you're doing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, but the only challenge we have is the dog who's sitting at our feet. But she hears anything, she gets up, she starts barking. So we got to hope no one knocks on the door, no
Well, no,
Amazon
but yeah, that's
deliveries,
another reason
no.
why late at night is good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
just well, it's just I just think that a lot of people get they get it twisted. Like you said, the priorities are first. The family stuff comes first. I have a hard time sometimes. I'm like crazy on social media. I'm very involved with like creating all the content and plus the podcast. And now I have another project I'm working on the YouTube and a separate podcast with someone from our parish.
So
But
cool.
it's because of that downtime. Or there is no the downtime isn't wasted. Well, yeah, on Sundays I chill, I watch football, but we go to church, we hang out as a family. We always have like a big Sunday dinner, but then I'll rest. But then the rest of the week I'm jam packed. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, you have to prioritize, your time because our kids aren't gonna always want to hang out with us. Let's just face it, and then we got to have time for our spouses to hang out and talk and stuff like
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely.
So yeah, that's awesome. So what brought you to Kentucky? Did you have family out there? I got family in Kentucky. We're not too far from
Yeah,
Kentucky.
exactly. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Anytime y'all come by, if you go visit family, shoot me a message. We'll hang out.
Yeah, my dad's in outside Gatlinburg, and I got relatives outside Louisville, but we're like Northwest Indiana. We're like almost
Okay.
Chicago, but across
So
the
you
board.
guys are-
We moved because it's way cheaper in Indiana than Illinois. Also,
Oh, sure, sure. No, I don't have any family in Kentucky. To be honest with you, it was COVID. My wife and I didn't own a home in San Diego. It was the middle of the lockdowns, and we said, let's just get out of here. Let's just sell everything we have, and let's pick a more of a conservative red state, that that has a little more freedom, and that's affordable, and we can buy land because we've always wanted to homestead,
Yeah.
just a small homestead. So Kentucky was great because my family ended up moving to Detroit, and I didn't want to go there. So it only, for obvious reasons, it was only 6 hour drive, so I get to see them often.
Oh, that's
So,
not bad.
but the good thing is my in-laws moved into Kentucky at the same time as us, so we have 2 homes in a 10-acre lot, which is great. So we live in one house, and my in-laws live in the other.
That's
So
amazing.
it worked out perfectly, and the TLM parish, the fraternity parish, the FSSP parish that we attend, is literally our new family here in Kentucky, and I can't tell you how blessed we are to have folks in this parish. The community is just incredible.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
It makes all the difference.
So other than COVID stuff, so what got you into like everybody? Like that's the other thing. Like everybody wants to homestead. Wants to have like I don't know. We just got our first cow. We got a quarter of a cow. Like, I'm like I want to get chickens. I'm like like it's like the world is like I'm tired of everyone's. They're poisoning us with the food. That's my big thing. The plastics and the food. And we're healthy. So what got you into the homesteading?
Well, my wife. Well, start off. My father-in-law is great at gardening, and I mean, he can. You give him a patch of small patch, you can make something great with it. That's so awesome. I was learning with from him and how to garden properly. So we just wanted to be self-sufficient. Like the same thing with what you're saying. I'm tired of the system that we've been enslaved to. And we've pretty much relying on them and everything, for education and food and survival. So we said let's move to Kentucky, homestead. We'll homeschool our kids. We'll have our own chickens. We'll have our own garden. And Berea is where I'm at in Kentucky. I couldn't spell Berea. I couldn't point you into a map where Berea was before I moved here. We bought the house sight unseen. We sold everything. We stuck everything in the back of a van and drove 36 hours and got here at 1 a.m. to this house that we're in right now. And
you got to write a song about this unless you've already done that.
I did. Don't Need a Reason is kind of similar from Tradicione. It's a very similar track to that.
Wow.
So it's hard to have a cow for us because I'm not experienced, and they're pretty difficult too. So we're getting sheep first.
Okay.
So we got the chickens down, we got the dog down, we got the garden down. We get a quarter of a cow every year.
Okay, yeah, we just did that.
It's great.
I don't think it'll last him a year though.
Awesome.
He's a vegetarian.
It's so good. I'm a meatitarian, so I'm in like heaven.
I'm telling you, buddy, I'm telling you, the ribeye steaks were the first to go. Once they get
yeah, I know. We just had some a couple days ago. I'm like, all right, we got that and just the difference of like it just tastes better. It's just like even if you're buying 85-15, 90-10, it's still less greasy and it just tastes better. It's just ridiculous.
It does. Yeah, it tastes better. It's great. We have a milk share with a local community to where we pay about $30 a month. We get 6 gallons of raw milk a month.
Oh wow!
And we pick it up every Tuesday. So just bartering with community and just being able to have that that survival. And I'm not supporting the big the big folks who we're supporting small local families.
Right. And yeah, we got from a local farmer who just started raising cows himself, and he was so appreciative. And it's going to his family. It's just such a different.
Yeah, we're not quite at the raw milk. I'm addicted to. We have this Fair Oaks Farms, which is actually local to us, but I think Coke or Pepsi bought them. Yeah. But it's ultra pasteurized. It's half the sugar, twice the protein, but it's like $4.50 a half gallon. It's like, but it's just like it's so good. I know.
Who would have thought on a show with a rapper that we'd get into
about homestead? Well,
so not where I thought.
We have a garden. Our we got a pretty decent.
Oh, you make fun of our garden, though. You make fun of it. You say it's like spend $30 to yield $5.
Well, we're not expert gardeners yet. We're working on it. Yeah, our first couple of years, the yields were not worth the effort and the money.
But lately it's
better. But now it's getting better. Yeah, we just tomatoes and cherry tomatoes, and peppers,
zucchini.
This year we did some broccoli, zucchinis, and peppers and stuff like that. But
isn't it amazing what you can grow? Yeah.
Yeah, and the kids. I love the kids going out and picking it and knowing that they helped plant it.
That's awesome.
Something to that.
Well, it's biblical. How many stories in the Bible has to do with farming or gardening or shepherding or obviously there's something to hard work on top of it, other than relying on other people, which some stuff, if you work a different type of job, you have time to do it, fine. Right. But it's also to see the fruit of your labor, and it's obviously it's healthier for you. But there's something about like your song. You're about to release an album. When you hear it it's like, the hard work that you put into it to put it out there. I can just hit play and listen to it like, okay, I like this one, I don't like this one. But when you put your time, blood, sweat, and tears into it, then you just appreciate things. And that's just a great lesson to teach your kids and just in general, that anything good takes hard work and sacrifice. And gardening's not easy. It's like I just weeded it like yesterday. You come back out and the evil one's out there planting all these weeds. I gotta go get them out.
Oh yeah.
I get it. Now my biggest problem is that we have so many trees in this property. The leaves that I gotta take care of on a daily basis when it starts in fall.
Well, you could write a song about that.
I probably could, yeah. I probably should call "Leave Me Alone" leaves, something.
Yeah.
We just have like a big corner lot, but I have 3 huge oak trees and then like 10 other trees. And I mean, just at that, I picked this year. I picked up 5 huge like waste management size garbage cans just of acorns. And there's no easy way to get those. Where you got to rake them up at like my hands and knees and scoop up 5 huge garbage cans to the top. And then now I'm blowing leaves every day. I feel you. It's never ending.
So I don't mean to totally change the subject, but I have a question that just popped in my head. Okay, I don't know what is your liturgical preference? Like, are you more traditional or are you more open to different types of music and things in a mass? Would you ever, or have you ever rapped in a mass, or do you think it's inappropriate? I
have to say no.
I know. I want to see, like, are you? Yeah, go ahead.
That's an excellent question. I normally am. I like just to do what the church allows, and the church says. I know even in Sacra Sacra Concilium, which was the document out of Vatican II for the sacred liturgy, they do put the highest place of music as the Gregorian chant, and I think chant is the highest form of music, and I think it belongs in the liturgy solely. But I think the pipe organ is allowed, and I think even sometimes like some strings, guitar strings, I think will also be great. But anything that is, Pope Benedict says, anything that is created from the profane does not belong in the sacred. So rap has no culture in Catholicism. So injecting it in the liturgy, I wouldn't feel comfortable doing. I know one Catholic rapper who I think has done it before, and I'm just not a fan of it.
Yeah.
No, and like you alluded to that, there is a space for it, but it's not during the mass. Our parish does a lot of praise and worship nights. We actually have one on All Saints Day after mass. They'll do adoration, and then we have a couple like guitars and piano, but we got a beautiful music liturgy. I mean, they're just as talented as Kira is, and it's just it does elevate the mass. But yeah, it wouldn't be right. But there are spaces to to do it, obviously outside of the mass.
Yeah, or in a hall, like when I went to perform at the parish in Detroit, people were surprised because it was Sacred Heart Catholic Church, and I forgot the name of the place in Detroit, but they're more traditional. They have a traditional Latin mass, and then they operate the Novus Ordo in a very traditional way. And when they reached out to the, it was funny, when they reached out to the other parishes to invite them to the concert, the other parishes was scratching their head. They're like, Sacred Heart has a rapper coming to the
I know. I kind of think that's awesome. Like, St. John Campus is the one.
But the things that you rap about, though, are traditional at the same time.
I like that because it doesn't have to. We're not meant to fit in that box. So those people that prefer the traditional are also okay with having different forms of music outside of the liturgy. It doesn't all have to be within the liturgy. I think,
but the liturgy is something sacred. That's
right. It's preserving
where the lines.
Liturgy.
It's
yes, absolutely, yeah.
It's a consistency, I think, versus.
But so drawing on like some of your lyrics, obviously some of the songs that you have, like what can we expect on the new album? Some of the themes I heard, the new creation song and the new earth, and then there was one about a traditional wife. Was that one that's going to be on there? What was the name of that one? The video you put out? It was like it's talking about being a real man and traditional roles in the marriage.
No, that's actually that's a song in Tradiciones called Gender Roles.
Oh, okay, it wasn't a new song. It was just a new video.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an older song. It's on Tradiciones. I just a little video for it. But some of the tracks on this album, "Wedding of Cana" is one of the songs. It's called "Wedding of Cana," and it talks about. I heard this great homily one time. So the inspirations that you get, right? I heard this great homily one time. The priest was talking about how in sacramental marriage, like the wedding of Cana, you know how the wine at the very end was the best out of all the wines, and that's unheard of because it says in the scripture that when people were too drunk, they don't notice a difference. So you put the cheap wine at the end because everybody's already too drunk to notice a difference. So when the wine at the very end that Christ would change water into wine, that was the best wine they've ever tasted. It also symbolizes in the spiritual sense that sacramental marriage is not sweetest at its honeymoon stage, it's the sweetest at the end. When you've gone through all of these spiritual battles together, when you've kind of gone through all of these. So that's what the song's pretty much about, how sacramental marriage only gets better as it ages.
Wow.
As the couple
That's
gets
beautiful.
older. So that's the name of the song, Wedding at Cana. I have a song called Gave What He Had, which is a bluegrass kind of country song. I had to dig deep for that one for my voice to sound decent.
The Kentucky's already wearing off on
Yeah.
you.
We're on the homestead.
Some corn pipe. But no, that song particularly is about forgiving, your father and growing up. Although that he made, all of our fathers growing up, they made mistakes, but they gave what they had. Whatever they had instilled in them, the virtue that they had, they gave the best that they had, and now you go give your children the best that you have. So,
as flawed as we are, just like they are. Yeah, it took me a long time to mature to think about that the way with my dad. I mean, my dad was a good dad; he was there all the time, but he couldn't give me a lot of the things that I want to give my kids. But it's because he couldn't give something that he didn't have. His mom left at a young age, so he missed that part of the motherly love, the being loved and hugged and that kind of stuff. He just didn't have it to give, but he was a strong man who worked, he provided, he was always there. But it's just like some of the other stuff. But as we get mature and recognize that, it's like it's a good thing. It's like, hey, he did the best he could do with what he had. I wouldn't change it because that made me who I am. But I know now what I'm trying to do with my children, which is pass on the hey. Don't forget to hug them every day, tell them I love them, and be there for them, and be a good husband to my wife, and be there at all their sports games, and do all the stuff. Pray together. They know I go to daily mass, so they know Dad's most important part of his day is going to mass, and so I want to be that. It's so important for fathers and our kids' faith, because the fathers usually don't take it seriously. And that's what I started reading those statistics of how important it is for a father, that I started taking it serious because I want my kids to get to heaven.
And this comes full circle to you, because that is how your dad brought you back to Catholicism, right? Didn't he challenge you to say, don't give up on it yet, look into these things, look into what you're walking away from first. You had a strong father that practiced the faith clearly and took it seriously, and that's what brought you back to the faith as well. Correct.
No, that's a good point. That's a very, very good point. Yeah, my dad and I and my brother, it's just the three of us. We're great friends. Every time we get together, it's scotch, cigars, and just good conversation. So it's.
So does your brother still live in San Diego, or has your brother moved where you're at?
He's in Detroit. Yeah.
Oh, in Detroit. That's right. Okay, so he's not 6 hours away then from you. That's good. And he raps as well, right?
Yeah, he does. He is. So. And a couple of songs. The two songs, that ain't Catholic. Have you heard that one? I'm pro-choice and I'm Catholic. That's not Catholic. Yeah. So he's on the second verse on that one. So when we were doing it back in 2005 to 2011, when we were rapping, it was him and I the whole time together. Every song was, and then I picked the music back up. He didn't, but every once in a while I'll throw his verse. So I'll say, hey, I need a verse, open verse here, and he'll put it together. And
that's so cool.
He's in the new album. He's in a song called Joe Cafaso, about Saint Joe Cafaso.
I love that.
Oh, wow. So that's just, my brothers have like no faith at all, but if I call them like, hey, bro, I need something, they would be there. That's part of, having those things, I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm the only one in my whole family that goes to church or has a relationship
Daily
with
mass,
Jesus.
daily mass, man. That's impressive. Daily mass is impressive.
I started like 3 years ago. Well, I started at Lent. I'm like, I'm gonna do one. I'm just gonna do one extra day, and then I'm like, if I could do one day,
Wednesdays.
I did Wednesdays because by Wednesdays I wanted to choke somebody. You know, the Protestants have it right. They get together on Wednesdays and do fellowship or whatever. But you know, the graces started wearing off because I had so many years of being a wayward, crazy sinner and a maniac and a bar brawler, and I had a sordid past. So it's like I needed more grace. I just kept needing more. So I started Wednesdays, and then I did that for all Lent. And the next Lent, I'm like, I'm gonna do all of Lent every day. And then I'm like, all right, now I just fell in love with it. So now it wasn't like, oh man, I got to get up earlier.
Created a habit.
I have a blessed. We have a Carmelite monastery that's halfway in between our house and where I work, and they got a 6 a.m. So it's like really, I get up a half hour earlier, really. But the community there, we've just so lucky. It's not our parish, but I go there for confession. I know there's 6 or 7 priests there, and I know the deacons, and then I serve whenever they need help. It's just changed who I am as far as patience and love of just the scripture and mass and everything. But yeah, it's definitely, if you can't do it daily, definitely try to pick one extra day because it definitely makes a big difference.
No, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the more you receive our Lord, the better, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys, somebody mentioned St. John Cantius in Chicago. Did you guys used to go to there too when you were up there?
My mom loves to attend mass there. So growing up, like for her birthday, her birthday is actually on Halloween. She loves to attend. They have a beautiful, service for All Souls Day.
The Requiem Mass,
Mass they do.
Oh, wow.
And I remember going to that as a child. I took Bob there once. We did actually an episode on the Latin Mass.
My first Latin Mass, we did a podcast
on it.
Yeah.
It's just so gorgeous. It's such a beautiful liturgy, such a beautiful church. So
yeah, it's like
we still were about
an hour 15 minutes from us, something like that. It's not too far.
Like about 45 minutes from our house when we lived in Illinois, and then about an hour and a half now from where we are. So it is a nice treat, but we wouldn't go there regularly. We're not able to.
Sure.
Yeah. Have we ever taken the kids there?
No, we haven't taken the kids.
I don't think we have.
No.
I think it's a cool experience. I think our son Braden loves classical music. He probably would really love.
Yeah, I know. I was looking into wanting to do the Requiem, but we have I have a meeting on Thursday, so we couldn't go. I was looking into it, but I really wanted to go to that. They said it's unbelievable with was it Mozart does Requiem, right?
Yeah,
Mozart.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we do the one thing that we are blessed with at our parish is that it's her school. We actually have 2 churches. We have one where the school is, which is their old chapel, and then we have the big church. But actually 2 things we're blessed with. We have the Passion of the Shrine, or the Shrine of Christ Passion, which is like it's like 10 acres of like 50 statues where they get the walking Passion. It's like the Last Supper, and then they get a huge temple, and you walk the Stations of the Cross, and it's just absolutely beautiful. And it's like 500,000 people come to it.
And all kinds.
Yeah, now they just added Our Lady of Guadalupe, and now they have a whole like Moses thing. It like literally looks like you're in Sinai. It's insane.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. And then we have a perpetual adoration chapel.
And
at our parish. It's in her school parking lot where she's principal. So
that's the driving force of that.
So much grace. Sure. Yeah. Hey, other than gas, if you guys want to cover my gas, I won't charge you a cent. I'll come perform for the kids.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, I would love that. That would be so
Indiana's not that far from me. I'll drive, I'll do a performance, and I'll come back home.
We'll have to catch you on the way up to Detroit or something, and just
Yeah,
it's definitely worth it to come. Like I said, to see the shrine of they do all kinds, like EW10 or Relevant Radio is always doing stuff up here, but our parish is like the Perpetual Adoration Chapel is what's fueling it, because our parish is the graces are. It's just like
Jesus,
it's like standing room only, and it's a huge church. It's a new church. It's like
I'll have to talk to our youth minister. And maybe get something where you can perform. That'd be so
Yeah,
cool.
that would be super cool.
Fun. Yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'll go as long as you like. Yeah, that'd be a blast. Yeah.
That'd be
Yeah,
fun.
for sure. Well, anything else? I don't want to keep you too long. I'm sure you got all kinds of stuff going on.
I have a question.
All right, go
So
ahead.
out of all of your songs, I'm sure, I don't know if you've been asked this before, you already know. What's your favorite, or what do you connect with the most of all your songs on all your albums over time?
That is a good question.
I know what I like.
You have a favorite?
I like Die for This. Die for This is awesome.
Die for This. Yeah, yeah. I'll go per album. So my favorite song off of Tradiciones, I would say, is Under Construction.
Okay.
Okay.
It was probably more difficult to write and perform, so it just became my favorite because it was so challenging to do.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite off of Deus Volt, That Ain't Catholic.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my favorite one off that. Or Hope in You, which was the first single off that. And then my favorite song off Kenisa, two of them I have, Fear Nothing, or Wedding of Cana. So, yeah.
That's
Those are
Awesome.
off of the albums, yeah.
Awesome.
Well, we're definitely looking forward to the new album, and I'm gonna have to get my kids on them. They're starting to get into like popular music. I'm like, oh, you got to shield them from so much stuff.
Yeah,
It's just
you
like,
do.
it's just
Yeah.
like,
That's why we have them listen to like classic rock
Cla-
songs. That's
yeah.
why they like Aerosmith.
yeah, they
Even though
like
Aerosmith is
older,
got some
like
things I'm
classic
oh,
rock. Our
really?
daughter's gonna be Steven Tyler for Trick or Treating.
Oh, that's awesome. Did they like that style of like of classic rock, grunge kind of? Check out Hollowed. He's a Catholic artist.
Hallowed,
Hollowed.
HALOED at the end.
Yeah, correct.
Hallowed.
Yeah, he's two albums out.
Oh, cool.
His name is Daniel. This kid is a whiz. He can play every instrument. He does everything on his own. It's incredibly professional and very clean. And he's very Catholic. And he's got a song, I think called Catherine of Siena, where the chorus says, "Take a bath, you smell like mortal sin." And,
Oh wow, that's good.
and he's,
I like
yeah,
that.
so you guys will like him if you like that type of music. Oh yeah,
Oh, how
Hollowed's great.
fun.
Yeah, I'm always looking for.
He's always-
I'm
he's
always
always
looking for like. Well, TikTok, like you can find so much like different music. Like like I'm tired of regular music. So like even like folk, like a lot of like folk songs now. Like just I find people on TikTok. It's just like talent is like when I hear a song, I can tell if it's good within 3 seconds. Like I can tell
No
if it's a good
pressure,
song.
no
That's
pressure,
just
Enoch.
how
Absolutely.
I am. I
No
just, and then I'll
pressure.
yeah, no pressure. But you know music. You hear a song right away. You know if it's good or it's not good. It's just how we are. But I mean, there are some songs and you'll go back and hear it like
Right.
because you listen to it 10 times, all of a sudden you start to like it. That
Right.
happens too. But there are those songs when you hear it, you're like, oh wow, okay, that's cool.
Funny you say that because I know traditionally artists will make about 80 songs and pick about 12 to 15 to put out the album. That's what artists do.
I didn't know that.
Because everything's pretty much backed up by the record company. They're putting all the money out. So the artists will just put out 80 to 100 songs, and then they'll pick out 15 of those best to put out as the album. I don't have that luxury. So I got to make sure everything that I put out is either, a hit, in my own understanding, or good enough to go into the album. So every song that I make goes onto the album. Sometimes I'll just release it as a single, just at that. But yeah, going off of what you said, that's how I know. When I hear an instrumental come in, within the first 5 seconds, I know if this will be the right song for me or not. It takes 5 times. Yeah.
So you say like a lot of the juggling is within like you have a half-hour break here, a half-hour break there. You put the kids down and then you record.
Yeah.
Does something just like hit you? Is it like a like a Holy Spirit moment? Like, oh, I got an idea. I'm gonna write this down.
Absolutely. Yeah. And also, even when I wasn't doing music for the 10 years, once you start, especially with rap, once you start rapping, your brain never stops. You're always just coming up with new rhymes, formulating new rhymes in your head constantly. And my wife sometimes will play this game. Well, she'll throw a word at me. Now I'm big on multiple syllable rhymes. So I'll try to break down multiple syllables and have the next rhyme a multiple syllable rhyme. So my wife will throw out a word and I'll like try to come up with a multiple syllable rhyme just to keep my brain going. So when I sit down and write, it'll take me half an hour just to knock it out.
Wow.
And unlike other genres of music, and I might be biased here because it's rap, you know, I don't, other than speaking, if music was a canvas that you could paint on, I think hip hop is the biggest canvas because you can fit in the most words in one song and the other genre. You could and I think that's why it makes it such a great communicator, because it's pretty much just speaking in rhythm and hearing. Faith comes from hearing, so I think it has potential to really help a lot of souls understand the faith if the artist can formulate it correctly.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, this guy from our parish, we started this new YouTube called Purposely Catholic, but it was funny because we were talking about doing he's like, we should do like this music festival, like this just Catholic. I saw that one, I don't know who it was. They did like a Catholic-a-palooza. I'm like, we need to do something like that. Like get some other artists, get some power preachers, get
Maybe
some cool.
We could get that guy's wife to be the first Catholic rapper that'll rap.
Just like a whole bunch. That's our show. Like we're trying to normalize Catholicism. Like you don't have to be a nerd. You don't have to be lame. You don't have to be like a weirdo. You know, like you can take something like rap and make it where it's not, you know, profanity. You can make being, you know, a Catholic, like to love people, but to do it in your, you know, whatever your way is. It doesn't have to be we're just in a church praying, which is good, but there's a lot more to it than just, you know, like the stereotypes are like, oh, you're a, you know, whatever, goody two shoes, or you're this, or you're better than us, or you think that. But to do, taking back, you know, that's our thing about Halloween. It's like, no, it's Catholic. We're taking it back. We're going to talk about the saints. We're going to talk about all souls. You know,
not allowing the world to
dictate it to us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we should definitely. I'm going to start brainstorming. We'll see if we can get something big. Get some kind of big Catholic palooza. I
already like the name.
Yeah, and I mean,
that was a blast. That was a blast.
Yeah,
Catholic palooza was a blast. Yeah, a lot of great artists with there. Yeah.
But you know, I mean, that's what the best part about Instagram and the social media. We can reach out to all these different people. You know, it's just it's a beautiful thing. For all the bad stuff about it that social media and that stuff gets, there's a lot of good that can come from it if we use it for the glory of God.
Correct. Yeah, there's a corner of it where it's really edifying, because when I scroll through my my Instagram, it's you know, everything from what you guys have and the Catholic Coach and a lot of the other content creators. I'm telling you, I'm just the images of Christ and the videos and the reels. It's just so much fun.
Because you have control over
that's
what
you
see.
Instagram,
you know, you have control over what
curate it how you want it. Like the other stuff, it just throws it at you.
Right, what you're saturating yourself with.
Well, anything else you want to add? We're almost to 53 minutes already. Anything else you want to add, or where everyone can find you? What's your
Thank you. No, that's about it. I appreciate it. Thanks again for letting me hang out with you guys. This was a blast. Yeah, you guys.
No, thank you.
This is one of the easiest interviews that I've done, because I love the conversation style, and you guys are pros. You know how to do it. But yeah, just support good Catholic musicians, not just myself, but all the ones that are trying to find a platform, and just you know, go on Spotify and look up Catholic artists. But if you want to support me, I don't have a Patreon. I don't have any of that. You can support me just by downloading the album or streaming it, because when you stream it, you know, the distribution industry does end up, you know, cutting me a check through the streams. So just stream as much as you can, share it with others, and if one of my songs can help somebody in despair, that's worth $1 million to me. Yeah, so that's the most important part. So.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we'll share it all on the social, especially the new album comes out on the 1st.
I'll do a few reels where we're split and it's our reactions to the song.
So well, for sure. I got to do a better job of I know I made one list. I included you for like songs to listen to when you're working out, but I should put together a list of do my research and find all these Catholic artists and put together a list, because we got to put them out there, you know, put them in one area and try to spread it out. So put that on my radar for sure.
this was at a Focus conference a few years ago, and I don't know if there's a specific genre to this, but there's something called Love Good. Have you ever heard of that? Love Good. And it is like this central location where a lot of artists, all like Catholic artists, all like put their things. I should look into
Love Good.
Love Good, and I think you could subscribe to it and
Okay.
and things like that. Yeah, but I don't know what genres are within that, but I knew it was different Catholic artists, whether it was music or art or things like that, all like to come together. And that was at a Focus conference one year, and they sponsored something. They sponsored like a stage or something like that.
Well, maybe are you planning on going to the Eucharistic Congress in Indianapolis? Is in July. It's going to be 4 days in Indianapolis. Yeah, you're not going to. Yeah, it's gonna be like 80,000 people. We're gonna be there. So maybe if you think about going, we'll have to hook up for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
It's close for you to be close. Indianapolis is not far.
Yeah, that wouldn't be far from you at all.
No, it's I think 3 hours away.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you taking the time. Busy schedule.
So fun to meet you. This is so cool.
Guys, thank you.
For sure. Thank you.
Yeah. God bless you.
God bless you.
End in prayer.
We can. You want to end in prayer? Go ahead.
Me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's not a pressure. Okay.
Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Amen. Lord Jesus, thank you for this time. Thank you for the revival that you have within so many Catholic hearts to use modern tools to cultivate the truth, to show people what is true, what is beautiful. Lord, help us to be saturated with your truth so we could spread it to others. And together we say, glory be to the Father and
to the Son and to the Holy Spirit, as it was in the beginning, is now, and ever shall be, world without end. Amen. Father, Son, Holy Spirit.
Wow.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome. All right. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.